Hey everybody, hope y'all are doing great and wanted to chat today about the One Piece live action full trailer that we got the other day that dropped on One Piece Day. I have a lot of thoughts on it. Wanted to chat about it with some people that might be curious about the One Piece live action or people that might be excited about it. I thought it looked pretty good. I thought it looked fun. I thought it was a lot better than the original trailer that we got. Of course, it's full trailer this time. The previous one was a teaser trailer. And yeah, just wanted to see a lot more of the characters, a lot more of the scenes, get a little bit more of context into what we're walking into with the world that they're building here in the live action adaptation. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are turned off by live action, rightfully so. We've had a ton of misses out there. We've had Death Note, the Netflix Death Note. We've had the Full Metal Alchemist live action adaptation that a lot of people said was bad. We've had the more recent Cowboy Bebop live action adaptation that initially looked good and was a little bit of a cock tease, but turned out to be not that great either. Another blunder at that. But I'm hoping and praying that this One Piece live action adaptation is not one of those blunders. It is not going to be another one, hopefully. I have some hope for it because Eiichiro Oda has been watching over it so closely. He's even said himself that they've had to reshoot a bunch of scenes because it didn't turn out the way that he wanted them to be shown as. They just didn't turn out to his liking, so they had to reshoot a lot of them to make sure that they turned out the way that he wants it to be interpreted as or to be shown as. And that makes me happy because I'm like, hopefully that it turns out in a decent fashion and they're not just kind of making it look the way that they want it to look and not be faithful to the manga in some way or to the anime in some way. I know that it's not going to be perfect and it's not going to be one for one adaptation to anime or one to one adaptation to the manga or whatever, but at least if it keeps like the core feeling of what the One Piece story is supposed to be, about adventure, being free, and just, all the themes and stuff that we have within One Piece, at least from the beginning part of this portion of the story, then, that'd be great. And at least the portrayal of some of the characters are pretty great at that. I'm hoping that this will turn out to be a good thing. That's a lot of what I really want it to be. I want it to have the core themes hopefully intact with the story and then have the portrayal of a lot of these characters, be done justice. He did put out a statement, and I'll go ahead and read that over right now. So this is from Eiichiro Oda himself. So he says, so the live action One Piece, the teaser and the trailer are now out, and the launch date for the show itself is set for August 31st. I'll say this, there were no compromises on this show. So good thing for that. He says no compromises. So it's hopefully to his liking and to what they want One Piece live action to kind of be shown as to fans around the world. And the festivities have already begun. It's already fun seeing the flurry of reactions after each release of information, and the very fact that adapting One Piece into live action was conceived 7 years ago is wild. How will this world be brought to life? There was so much that went into it all. The efforts by the actors, the building of the world, and the costumes, presenting things in a way that only can be done in live action. The dialogue and the entire process of so many people putting their heads together was a festivity in and of itself. After the launch, I'm sure I'll hear about some people pointing out that this character is missing or that this scene was omitted or this bit is different from the manga, but I'm sure that they'll come from a place of love, so I intend to enjoy even those comments. Lol. The story will span 8 episodes and take us up through you know where. So stop counting what you've lost. So I like these little bubbles of Jinbei and Whitebeard here. So based off of this, and I believe they announced it before that it was going to be an 8 episode showing for a Netflix, that it's going to be on there. Maybe there's a season 2, but who knows? A lot of live action stuff don't turn out well or are not received well. So I have yet to see a live action have a season 2 or anything like that. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I missed something. But there's even more here from him. So he says, even after the shoot was over, there were numerous scenes. So this is what I was talking about. The production agreed to reshoot because I felt that they weren't good enough to put out there into the world. On the other hand, there was also some lines that I thought didn't feel like Luffy on paper. But when I saw the film scenes, I went, it works when it's Inaki or Iñaki performing it as Luffy. As a matter of fact, it works great. So Iñaki is the actor that does play Luffy. And there were so many things that had to be done to keep things from looking too unnatural in live action. The producers and the crew are pros at live action, and frankly, they're One Piece super fans too. The more knowledgeable you are about One Piece, the more you're likely to notice the love they poured into this. So fun fact, if people don't know, like he said here that the people that are working on this are super fans of One Piece. I believe the director, I can't remember his name off the top of my head right now, but he is a big super fan that is caught up with the manga, I believe, and he's had numerous appearances on different YouTube channels for some of the bigger YouTubers that do talk about One Piece. He's been on the Reverie, where it's like a little gathering of a lot of the bigger YouTubers that do talk about One Piece within the anime community, and he's gone on there multiple times and had discussions just about where the future of the One Piece story is, not just live action or anything along these lines, but just talking about the story because he loves the series One Piece itself and is curious to find out the secrets of the world and just, the future of the story at that. So he is at his core, a One Piece super fan, and I don't think that he would want to have this be another blunder and be careless with this. And of course, Eiichiro Oda has been watching over it too, on top of him being a super fan. So I'm hoping and praying, like I said, that this turns out to be good because it's in good hands seemingly. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. So moving on to this, it was June when we made the final decision to go ahead and launch this show. My editor, who'd worked so hard on this, actually cried as he said it was such a long journey. Lol, not that working hard on something was guaranteeing success, of course. By now, I just love this production team and the cast so much that I can't wait for them to get the acclaim they deserve from everyone around the world. And if by chance people have some gripes, I'll be there to receive them together. Now, whatever feelings you choose to harbor in the meantime, it's still going to be a 1 month. So please have some tea as you wait. And I love this little cute picture of Luffy here, just drinking some tea. But that was a message from Oda, kind of letting people know that there's going to be some potential changes within it. Not drastic ones, I don't think, but things that you have to take into account when something is being adapted into a live action setting. So something that might work in an anime, it's anime, anything can happen. They could just animate things that the way that they really want. It won't work in real life, so it's not realistic. So they have to make some changes, some adjustments there that you can only do in a live action setting there, and some things might be omitted or whatever. I'm assuming it's not anything like super huge that's going to take away from the core theme of One Piece or the core, One Piece feeling or anything like that. But there's definitely, again, going to be some changes because this is live action and they don't have a ton of time to kind of really do all this stuff too. It's not like they can adapt it one for one and have episode one adapt just episode one of actual One Piece. They're having 8 episodes, and I believe they're going to be around maybe an hour long or something like that. I don't know if they confirmed that just yet, but I'm assuming it's going to be kind of along the lines of how they've had other shows in the past, like maybe The Witcher or some of those other bigger shows out there where they're each like an hour long, but it's 8 episodes at that. So hopefully it's pretty good. Hopefully it flows well when we do end up watching the series. But I'm going to move on to some of the scenes that I want to talk about for the One Piece live action here. So let's go ahead and move over to this first scene. So we get to see Gol D. Roger and his actor here. Looks like a normal dude, I guess, playing Gol D. Roger. I thought that his voice sounded nice when it came to giving out that message to everybody, letting everybody know that it's the great pirate era to go out there and get the One Piece if you really want it. It's out there for the taking. He's left the world itself in that one place, everything the world has to offer. So I thought it was a pretty good opening scene and nice that we get to see who's playing Gol D. Roger here. I feel like there is one person in particular that I do want to see more of out of everybody in the Straw Hat crew, and that is Jacob. I can't remember his last name, but he plays Usopp. I feel like he has been the one that we have not gotten a lot of from the Straw Hat crew. We've gotten a good amount of scenes with Luffy. We've gotten a good amount of scenes with Sanji, Zoro, and Nami, I'd say, in some decent amount of lines so far out of all of them, but I feel like we haven't gotten too much out of Jacob, who does play Usopp. We get one scene where he's like yelling, "Get out of the way," or like "Look out," or something like that, because they were shooting cannons at them or whatever at their ship. And then as well as just another scene where he's making like some like goofy noise or something like that, but that's about it. I don't think he had any or very little lines in that teaser trailer because it was so short. We did get to see him, but not too much there, if anything. And then this one, we got a little bit more, but again, not too much. I wanted to see a little bit more of maybe him portraying Usopp's character a little bit more of, how Usopp is kind of scared a lot of the time or whatever, or he's a jokester liar, the whole Usopp theme that we got going there within One Piece. But again, we'll see what happens. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot more of him being more chatty, showing a lot more of his acting as Usopp when we do get to see the actual series when it does come out on August 31st there. But yeah, that's one person I do want to pay attention to when we do get the full series out. So we do get to see Garp, and I think that the actor that plays him actually, looks kind of ish like Garp. So I think that it's a nice choice. We'll see how the acting is at that when it comes to him portraying Garp, but I do think that they kind of hit it on the money with the kind of look-ish for Garp himself. So I thought that they did a good job with that. In general, I think that they did a pretty good job with casting these characters, at least on the look side, and then as well as even some of the acting side that we've seen as well. If you guys have seen Iñaki in some fashion, whether it be outside of acting or just in some of the stuff that we've gotten so far from Luffy, I feel like he really radiates just Luffy energy, and that makes me happy because at least a lot of people love Luffy for being goofy and happy and eccentric and just the way that he is. He's just not really caring and he's just Luffy. So I feel like him being Luffy is a good thing, at least for me in some fashion. I know a lot of people, or at least some people, don't like his voice or whatever it may be. People are going to have gripes all the time. But I do like the character or the casting pick of Iñaki as Luffy and some of the other characters too. But we'll continue on with some of these scenes that we got. So here's the news coup. This is something that I did want to see too, or at least that I wanted to talk about. It was, we got to see the little news coup here and Luffy talking to the news coup. It was a really cute scene that I definitely was glad to see. And then seeing some more of like action, showing some of the pirate battles a little bit in some fashion. Getting to see scenes like this was really cool that I can't remember what it is, or I'm not sure if they're adapting this from the anime or the manga in some fashion. Maybe I'm just forgetting, but it does look pretty cool. And yeah, just seeing some parts of the story where Luffy is just talking about how being a pirate is so great, being out on the open ocean, smelling the salty sea, and then as well as being with his loyal crew and stuff. So just kind of having that Luffy conversation, or at least that monologue or whatever, I think, or him talking to Kobe about how great being a pirate is, and just seeing his kind of personality in general and his dreams and everything and things that he really loves and his passion for just wanting to be a pirate. And then this scene too, I really love because we got to see the Jolly Roger that Luffy originally kind of drew up and everything. And we see Usopp, or not Usopp, I think it's Nami and Zoro kind of give a very concerned look. And he's telling them like, hey, like we are the Straw Hat crew. We are the Straw Hat Pirates now. Oh yeah, we get to see a little bit of Captain Morgan. I don't think that we've got like the in-person Captain Morgan visual, but we did get to see, I believe, a bounty poster of him in the background in some fashion. We get to see a little bit more of Buggy, which looked actually not that bad. I know people were like, how is it gonna look with his chop fruit? It's gonna look freaking horrible, but it didn't look that bad, at least in my opinion. It looked a little weird, but not too bad. Let's go see here. So this is Buggy, and then we see him here. So this is the scene here. I'm not gonna play it all, but it doesn't look horrible. He does like a chop cannon right here, and it's, like I said, not that bad. It doesn't look too bad when you're watching it full kind of in motion and stuff. And this is that scene that I was talking about with Jacob playing Usopp and him kind of having that line of like, hey, look out, whatever, like they're shooting shit at us. In this scene, we get to see Sanji fighting Kurobi from the Arlong Pirates. So pretty cool that we're getting to see little snippets of them fighting fishmen and a little snippet into how the fishmen are actually going to look. We do get to see Arlong, who in my opinion looks a little bit on the weird side, but again, it's One Piece. They have very wacky characters, very wacky character designs. They're fishmen. It's gonna look a little bit weird, trying to adapt that into a live action kind of format and make them look realistic in some sort of way. So it's not like a huge gripe or anything like that. It's something that is just the way it's gonna be. But yeah, Sanji fighting Kurobi, Kurobi grabbing Sanji's leg right there, giving him a little bit of struggles on that side. Oh, this part I really loved. It was Zoro and Sanji's kind of banter. I feel like they really kind of nailed that Zoro Sanji kind of rivalry banter that they have going on. This is a scene where I believe Zoro was telling Sanji like, "Hey, I saved your ass" or something, and then Sanji gives him a little rebuttal back saying like, "No, I saved your ass. What are you talking about?" So it was a pretty cool scene, or at least a pretty funny scene. And here's another one here too, which I thought looked pretty badass here in live action, was Zoro going and fighting, cutting down some fishmen, I believe, and then Sanji fighting in the background over there, and then Zoro's fighting some more fishmen, and then this other fisherman's supposed to pop up and try to get Zoro, but Sanji comes and then just kicks the shit out of the guy, and it looks so fluid and so kind of cool. I'm sure they're using some sort of like bungee cords or whatever in some fashion to like make them be able to like fly around and being able to walk on the walls kind of like, or run on the walls like Zoro was doing and stuff, and how Sanji like flew in there and kicked that guy. But it looked really cool and looked really, like I said, fluid when it did happen. And then we have Nami here, who I think did a pretty good job, at least in the snippets that we got, of portraying Nami with a lot of the characters that we do have here, how she's kind of like that, in that mother role where she's like, I have a bunch of my problem children here and don't mind them, they're just idiots. So I thought that was a pretty funny scene, and I like seeing that out of Emily Rudd, who does play Nami. One thing that I did want to touch on was just the attire changes that we see throughout the scenes with different characters, with Nami here in particular having this nice yellow dress looking very beautiful, with her being on Kokoyashi Village with the tangerine trees here in the background, and her being by Bellamir's grave. So this was a nice scene that we got to see as well. And then showing here a little bit of Arlong, so you could see like a little snippet of him. It's very, very dark in this picture that you could see, but you'll see, I believe it's Zoro getting kicked through this, or somebody's getting kicked through this door right here by Arlong, and you'll be able to see him here. So there's a better look at what Arlong looks like. Like I said, looks a little bit weird, but again, it is a very wacky fishman character trying to be, you know, portrayed into a live action setting. It's gonna look a little bit weird. It's gonna look a little bit different. Like I said, it's not like a huge gripe. This in particular, I did not think that they were gonna do. So they threw in like a little snippet of the whole Luffy putting his hat on Nami's head or whatever on Kokoyashi Village in the Arlong Park arc. I didn't think that they were gonna show that. I feel like it looked just a little bit awkward in the scene, kind of with him putting the hat on her head, but I'm sure that it was just a little snippet of it. This is just the trailer. They're moving quick or whatever, but I'm sure that it's gonna hit a lot harder once we do get to see it in full episode form. We get to see some of the build up towards it and stuff, and how they kind of portray this scene in particular. Like I said, it's a very quick trailer scene. I did not expect them to show this, but I guess, you know, they had to throw in some drama scenes or whatever, some sad scenes for this trailer's sake. So we get to see that. We get to see Luffy fighting Arlong. So this is something that I really did want to see. This is Mihawk. So this is how Mihawk looks, and I think he looks pretty good. I think that he definitely looks like Mihawk, and it's a nice scene that we get to see. We get to see his sword, the Black Blade Yoru, in some fashion here. It's a little bit blurry in this picture, but I can't wait to see more of that. And this scene here with Shanks and the Lord of the Coast, I thought this looked very great. I thought that it looked pretty damn cool. I thought that in the original trailer it didn't look that bad, but then seeing it again here in a little bit more of a fashion of the Lord of the Coast looking more fierce and stuff, it looked pretty good. And then we get to see more of Luffy. Oh, this scene right here where we get to see Luffy doing like a Gum Gum Gatling against Arlong, I thought looked pretty good too. I didn't think that it was gonna look great with a lot of the CGI, but I thought that they did a pretty good job with this scene, making his arms look the way that Luffy's arms usually look when he does a Gum Gum Gatling, because it's usually like his arms are rubber, so it's not like a linear punch motion or whatever. His arms look like they're kind of like curving or like have an arch to them in some fashion, and like you can see here in like one of the scenes of it, you can kind of see it in some way. I'm not playing the full thing, and it looks better when you play it in motion when you're watching the trailer. In the scene it's a little bit blurry, but when you're watching it, it looks pretty decent. It looks pretty good. And then seeing Iñaki playing Luffy's goofy side here as well. And yeah, so more of Luffy and his Gum Gum Devil Fruit powers in live action here. Again, I think it looked pretty good, pretty promising so far, pretty fun at that. One thing too that I did want to mention was that they did throw in some Easter eggs, and I'm gonna go back. Oh yeah, I almost skipped this scene over. So this is a scene where they're showing some of the bounty posters and Luffy's talking to Kobe. Another thing here is I think that they did a pretty good job with the casting for Kobe. He looks kind of like Kobe, right? He looks like kind of like dorky Kobe-ish kind of style, pink hair and everything like Kobe. So I thought that they hit it right on the money with that so far with him. And then yeah, they're just talking about the posters, and Kobe's like, it's so horrible that there's all these pirates and stuff, and Luffy is like, hey, there's a problem here, you know, where's my face, where's my bounty poster, I'm a pirate, you know. But yeah, there's some Easter eggs, like I said, in some fashion here, because you see a lot of the characters. You'll see we have Alvida, and then we get to see in the next one, we get to see Foxy, which surprised the heck out of me because I'm like, Foxy is like way down the line, all the way in the Long Ring Longland arc. He's not my favorite character, he's one of my least favorite characters, but he's, you know, here in a bounty poster, we get to see him in some fashion. This is apparently the guy that's going to be playing his character. If they ever get to that point, who knows? I don't know why they're throwing these in, maybe in anticipation that maybe it might have a season 2 at some point. If the possibility is out there that that does happen, if this does hit and it's actually good. But yeah, we get to see some other ones too. So we get to see Bellamy. So another little Easter egg here of somebody who's going to be playing Bellamy, possibly, if it gets to that point there. And then I believe they show one of Captain Morgan, I think. Where was it? There was some place where they showed it. I think it was maybe when in a Sanji scene or something like that. But we do get to see a couple of them. They did show a Cavendish one. Where is it? There was somebody that, oh yeah, right here in this bottom corner. I didn't even see it, but if you guys can see it right here in this little corner, this little more videos thing is kind of in the way, but this is a bounty poster of Cavendish. So all the way into Dressrosa where you meet Cavendish, which is crazy. Again, this guy Cassid is going to be playing Cavendish if it ever gets to that point. Apparently, maybe they change it because God knows how long it would take for them to get to that point. Who knows if it even gets a season 2 or anywhere close to that, but I think it's pretty cool that they did show some of this stuff in some fashion, even if they don't get to those portions of the story with live action. I thought that it was a nice little treat that they gave us there to maybe, I don't know, just feed some Easter egg in Eiichiro Oda One Piece fashion, that he just feeds us some little lore or whatever, or some foreshadowing in some fashion too. I thought it was cool. It was pretty nice. But yeah, that was a lot of what I really wanted to talk about here. There's a lot of things that, you know, might concern me with maybe some of the acting or maybe some of the characters. I don't know, maybe if they cut out some important stuff. I don't know what it might be. Like I said, I don't think they're going to cut out anything insanely important. I don't think they're going to cut out anything that's going to jeopardize it from making it feel like One Piece, or just do something to make it not feel like One Piece. I want to see how, I guess, self-aware they are with it being such a goofy story and stuff in a goofy world such as One Piece. So it's going to be definitely interesting to see what they do, what the comedic scenes are going to look like. We've gotten little snippets of some of those comedic scenes, but I want to see it in full flow fashion. I want to see how these cast members portray these characters that we do love, like Emily Rudd with Nami, like Iñaki with Luffy, or Jacob with Usopp. Like I said, I want to see a lot more of him because I feel like we haven't gotten too much of him. Mackenyu as Zoro, and then Taz for Sanji as well. And even some of the other characters like Garp or Mihawk or some of the other villains or something like that. Like, I want to see more of Buggy. I want to see all of it. Like I said, enjoyed it. I thought that the trailer was fun. It gives me some hope even more so for it. I like the banter. I like the interactions with some of the characters. I think the fishmen don't look too bad so far from what we saw. The Arlong looks a little weird, but I like the look of Kurobi. I don't think that we got to see Chu within it. But yeah, some of the fishmen so far look pretty okay to good. And then as well as seeing the Lord of the Coast, some of the CGI doesn't look too bad in some of these scenes, but maybe they're picking, you know, the best looking CGI scenes for us because it's the full-on trailer that's going to hook people into potentially watching. And maybe there's some scenes that just don't look too great with the CGI, but only time will tell. We'll see when the actual full series does come out on August 31st. Can't wait for it. I'm a huge One Piece fan, so I'm going to be definitely watching this and give my thoughts on it at the end of the day when we do get that. But hope you all enjoyed the video. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below of the trailer if you guys watched it. Do you have hope that this is not going to turn into a blunder and it's not going to just turn out to be one of those other throwaway Netflix shows or throwaway live action shows out there that just misses again? Or do you think that it has some hope to be the one that just breaks through and changes the mold. It makes it to where we actually get a decent adaptation of an anime in live action form. So yeah, let me know what you guys think down in the comments below on some of your thoughts. What do you think of the characters, the fishmen, the villains, whatever, CGI, whatever, all of your thoughts. Let me know down below. If you guys liked the video, make sure to give it a like. I greatly appreciate it. Helps me out, helps the channel out, and make sure to subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and make sure to hit that notification bell as well to get notified for whenever I do upload a video, go live, or do any fun stuff like that. But I hope you all have a fantastic rest of the day and fantastic week, and I will catch you all later. See ya.